Let's go for the Spanish Grand Prix. Oh, sides of pole box. He holds up Leclerc. We go onto the grass. That was an insane start. Hamilton is away on those soft tires. Hamilton had an absolutely brilliant start. We go around the outside of the Ferrari, of Sainz, and the Red Bull of Perez. Hamilton is... Hello guys, Turbocharged 51 over here. I hope you're having a splendid day wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to Turbo Fox Racers. Welcome back to F1 23 career mode, and welcome back to this amazing team of Aston Martin. I know that's something new that I've put into the videos. I'm not going to do like 20 welcomes, guys. I just wanted to do it because it's Aston, and I'm driving alongside my hero, Alonso. So it's a good day. Guys, heading in towards this episode, we are preparing ourselves for the Spanish Grand Prix, the home race of my teammate Fernando Alonso. So you guys will know that Fernando is going to be aiming high for this episode. We head into the episode, obviously, upgrades-wise. Guys, first thing that I want to talk about right now. Obviously, you guys know, hashtag spoiler alert. If you haven't watched the previous episode yet and you don't want spoilers, go check it out right now. After our incredible win at my favorite racetrack on the calendar, the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, we head into Spain with a lot of momentum. But unlike Azerbaijan, the track we're heading towards is going to point out the weakest part of our car, and that is the chassis department. So guys, there's nothing wrong with the department itself, but the Aston, as you guys saw in Azerbaijan, the engine is good. We've got more engine upgrades coming this episode, so this car can have the best engine on the grid if things work out for us. Aero-wise, we are not too shabby. We've even got some aero upgrades on, but chassis-wise, we are in the bottom half of the field. And the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya, even though this track has been a little bit changed, as you guys see there, we have got the best engine on the grid, the most powerful, basically. Even though the last sector has been changed and we do have a little bit more emphasis on straight line speed, thanks to the final sector basically being changed, this is still an aero and chassis track because of the high-speed corners, the few low-speed ones, and because you are sitting on the ragged edge. But for good aero to work properly, you need a good chassis. And that is something, the Aston Martin's chassis isn't terrible, but comparing it to Red Bull, Ferrari, or Mercedes, there is no comparison at this stage of the career mode. So we've got some work to do, and I think this weekend here in Spain, our weaknesses are going to be pointed out, and that's something that I don't really want to show our rivals, which is the other top three teams, Red Bull, Ferrari, and Mercedes-Benz. But you can't go against what happens on track. You can't shy away from it. So we're going to try and do as much damage limitation towards this car's weaknesses as possible. You guys can see the ERS cooling is in, so there's another engine upgrade on the car, and there's another one coming soon. But the main thing is chassis. It's going to take long to unlock the upgrades, guys, because Aston Martin's facilities aren't the best, like Mercedes, Ferrari, or Red Bull. So getting this team to the front of the grid might not be that hard, but keeping them there is going to be very hard. As you guys see, the 4 upgrades that we bought, one is a reliability upgrade, all came in. So we've got 3 performance upgrades, 1 reliability upgrade. So things are looking good here at Cognizant Aston Martin Racing. As we now head to the performance shot, guys, and I'm going to go from the bottom to the top because I've got something at the top that I want to talk about. So Alpha Tauri is at the bottom, just behind Alfa Romeo. The 2 Alpha teams, honestly, great drivers. They deserve better. Williams Racing 8th, Alpine 7th, Haas 6th, McLaren 5th. So that's the battle for the 9th and 10th position. But here we come to the top 4. Guys, ourselves, Ferrari, and Mercedes have closed up to Red Bull significantly since the start of the season. Red Bull have got on a slump a bit when it comes to upgrades, so I think they've got maybe a few majors or an ultimate upgrade in the pipeline. But these top 4 teams from now on, unless Red Bull absolutely brings 2 or 3 ultimate upgrades, this is going to be close now. So there's 8 cars that are able to fight for the win and actually take the win. Once again, just like back on F1 2019, for some other reason, I almost chose for the wrong teammate in my team. Remember back on F1 2019, for you OG viewers, my teammate was Roman Grosjean at Haas. So when I was able to fight for the championship in Season 2, my teammate couldn't do anything. And I'm not trying to slander my hero, but so far Alonso hasn't been pulling as much weight as he should, with us basically having 2 P4s and now a race win. Alonso doesn't even have a podium yet. So there's a lot that needs to happen. But we'll see what happens this race. Alonso is still better than Stroll, so we're going to go with it. But guys, end of Q1, massive news. Max Verstappen, for some other reason, has received a 5-place grid penalty for the start of the Grand Prix. And other big news, the second Mercedes of George Russell has DNF'd again out of qualifying. He's in P15, so technically he's through to Q2, but the car can't drive, so he's out of Q1 and out with the rest of obviously. Actually, guys, look at the Alpha Tauris. The 2 slowest cars on the grid are 13th, and I think it was 8th for Tsunoda. Like I just said with the performance index, those drivers deserve better. So maybe a Yuki or a Nick de Vries sign for Red Bull next season, you never know. In any case, you guys see we now head into Q2, but I quickly just want to backtrack. Russell out in Q1, Verstappen 5-place grid penalty. That's 2 cars that we might not need to worry about now. Definitely Russell, Verstappen maybe, depending if he gets pole or not. But we all know the scintillating pace of the Red Bulls in qualifying. And then to contend with even more, in Q2, I have a Williams blocking me. So heading into going towards starting oh my word, sorry guys, I can't speak. Starting sector 3, I have to go for a race-like dive bomb on Alex Albon, just to actually get a proper lap, and it cost me at least a 10th. I think it cost Albon even more. We're still 3.5 tenths up, basically 4 tenths as we come across the line, and we were third. We were technically safe, but I didn't want to, oh my goodness, I didn't want to test my luck. So we take provisional pole for Q2 by 3.5 tenths, but guys, Q3 is coming. And I don't think with our chassis that is a possibility. Alonso P5 out in Q2 is Hulkenberg, De Vries, Albon, and Zhou. But hats off to Yuki Tsunoda and even Nick De Vries with those 2 Alpha Tauris. Tsunoda into Q3, De Vries just out in Q2. Brilliant performance from both the Alpha Tauri drivers. Now heading into Q3, guys. Obviously, you guys know my routine by now. The start, except for Q1, but the start of Q2 and Q3, I use the scrubbed set from the previous session that I ended qualifying with. So you guys can see a big mistake at the end of our first lap in Q2, completely just skateboarding the penultimate corner's curb, unsettling us for the final corner, and we easily lost 2 to 3 tenths just in those 2 corners as we're going to box this lap, obviously to come in. But I'm just going to show you guys a little bit of the exit of the garage. It's something that I haven't showed you guys yet on this with this game cycle, and it is now time for Q3, and something that I haven't done in a while. Let's commentate on a quali lap, because for some other reason you guys love it when I do that. So here we go. Q3 final lap, make or break. Heading down the main straight, DRS is already open as we are blasting hot lap and the best fuel mixture that we can, which is standard. I miss Rich and Max on the previous case, but it's fine. Hard braking zone into T1, 4th gear corner, touch the curb. T2 and T3 on this year's game. Thank you that we've got grip, unlike F1 22. It's flat out. Heading into turn 4, it's a late braking zone as well as a late apex, but you throw the car into 4th gear. As soon as the aero takes over, put your foot back down as the car just whooshes out of the corner, down to turn 5. It's a hard downhill, left-handed hairpin, but you can get on the power pretty damn early, which you need to use. Into T6 and T7. Through here, I have a bit of an oversteer moment as I'm too hasty on the power. Through the flat out turn 8 as we now head towards turn 9 at the end of the back straight. DRS open once again. Hard braking zone down to second gear if you dare. Short shift to third gear, maybe even fourth gear if the tires don't want to grip up. Then into, what's this now, turn 10. I think it's actually turn 11. But through turn 11, now we head towards the penultimate corner. Don't skateboard the inside curb. Beautiful run. Lift for the final corner. Don't down gear. Right. Let the cause momentum carry it through. DRS. And we are in P6. That is a letdown after pole position in Azerbaijan. But what did I say? The chassis, which is our weakness, was going to be pointed out in this video. But guys, Verstappen, he's P5. He's going to fall down to P10 thanks to his penalty. So the grid is currently Sainz on pole, Hamilton P2, Leclerc P3, Perez P4, myself and Alonso P5 and P6, Norris P7, Magnussen P8, Tsunoda P9, and Verstappen will start the Spanish Grand Prix in P10. And if there's anything I can tell you guys, I think it's going to be a hard race for us at Aston, but let's go find out.
Welcome along, everyone, to sunny Spain, specifically to the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. So many great moments in Formula One history have been written at this very track over the years, including Michael Schumacher's first win for Ferrari back in '96. That win was in the rain. We might have better weather here today, but we're just as overjoyed to be at the Spanish Grand Prix. It's an updated track at Catalunya, and we welcome the removal of the chicane in the final sector, shortening lap times and reducing the total running to 2.9 miles and 14 turns. This was actually the original setup for the track, but it hasn't been used since 2007. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. It's Carlos Sainz in pole position. And Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Perez, O'Connor, Fernando Alonso, Norris, Magnussen, Tsunoda, Verstappen, Hulkenberg, De Vries, Albon, Joe, Russell, Oscar Piastri, Bottas, Gasly, Ocon, and Logan Sargent. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. It's race day yet again, and joining me for a chat is Natalie Pinkham. Now, our racers are certainly in for a rough day today. What will you be watching for as they go down into turn 1?
There has been an exponential growth in the popularity of Formula One, and it is fantastic to see. This is the glue that's bonding families together. This is the talking point on a Sunday afternoon as they sit round and watch the race as a unit. I love the fact that people are starting to appreciate the various nuances of the sport, the fact there are so many layers to it. This is the cutting edge of technology, but there's also so much personality and sacrifice, personal sacrifice, that gets drivers and race teams where they are today.
Guys, it is time for the Spanish Grand Prix from P5 on the grid. Now guys, you guys are going to see I'm heading for a 2-stop in this race. You guys know by now, if you've been watching the videos, the Aston gets quicker as the fuel load gets lighter towards the end of the race. So I'm going to try and benefit from that and go for a very daring 2-stop. The tire wear around Spain is very high thanks to the high-speed corners. It's a lot like Silverstone. And looking at the race director, from 11th to 20th are starting on softs. From 10th to 1st are on mediums, except for Lewis Hamilton. Does Hamilton know something that we don't? Because now I'm worried. I'm not going to lie. What's going to happen?
The formation lap gets underway, and every driver will be looking to settle in for the race ahead, making sure that their car is ready for the battle once the lights go out. So as all the cars reform the grids, the drivers will be hoping to get a strong start. They'll want to earn some valuable points from today's race, with final communications being done with their race engineers, ensuring the planned strategies are all in place.
My strategy is in place. Alonso's strategy is in place. What is going to happen now? Can we keep our nose clean? Ferrari on pole position, Mercedes P2, Ferrari P3, Red Bull P4 in the form of Sergio Perez, Verstappen coming from P10, and then behind the first Red Bull in this race, Perez, is us two British Racing Green Aston Martins, and now we head to 5 red lights. It's going to be a long one, and it's go for the Spanish Grand Prix. Oh, Sainz a pole box. He holds up Leclerc. We go onto the grass. That was an insane start. Hamilton is away on those soft tires. Hamilton had an absolutely brilliant start. We go around the outside of the Ferrari, of Sainz, and the Red Bull of Perez. Hamilton is bolted. He's just gone. It's turn 3, and he's already got about a second on everyone. We've gone up to P2. Perez is P3. Sainz is down to P4. Leclerc is down to P6. Fernando is in P5. Verstappen is going side by side with the McLaren of Lando Norris. Two very good friends IRL. Will they be able to keep their friendship alive as they go side by side on the Spanish track? Here we go. Oh, Norris has a big twitch there through the chicane, but they are still side by side all the way to turn 8, guys. Sorry about the jumpy replay, guys. You guys know I can't do anything about that. That is my PlayStation having a bit of an attack, some sort of attack. But in any case, through this next part, Hamilton, Verstappen and Norris were almost side by side for that entire lap. Brilliant racing. As now we see Sainz get past the Red Bull of Perez, but it's a drag race, and we know this Red Bull is strong in a straight line. Here we go into T1. Sainz up the inside. Perez is now on the inside for T2, as there's a little bit of a glitch with the game as they both ghost. Luckily, that was the only incident this race where that happened, guys. The rest of the race was normal. But guys, look at our start as we look at the replay. Sainz just bogged, held up Perez, and the only place I could go was the grass because Alonso was on the right-hand side of me. And Perez also didn't get the best start. So Alonso was held up there. So I had to put 2 wheels on the grass to get past these 2 Ferraris. But guys, look at that. Sainz just went nowhere. His anti-stall almost kicked in, and here I come around the outside. He actually goes to the inside of the track as he sees me going onto the grass. Thank you for that, Carlos. But we've got the racing line. We can break late into T1, and that is us up from P6 to P2. That has been the best start we've had this entire damn season. What a start. We can now actually get into a rhythm as quickly as possible. Because even though Hamilton is going to slightly break away now, if we can keep the gap under 3 seconds, as soon as those soft tires start feeling second hand, we will have the pace advantage on Lewis because we are on the mediums. But guys, I am pushing quali lap after quali lap because I'm on a 2-stop. I will be able to do that because I'm going to have tire wear on my side, where the other drivers is going to go for a 1-stop, which is probably going to be most of the grid. They need to preserve their tires. But you guys can see Verstappen got past Magnussen for P7. We now look at Nico Hulkenberg and Guan Yu Zhou battling for P12 as Russell is coming from behind. He's only made up 1 spot and it's already lap 6. He's now going he's going to try not to make up his 2nd spot from P14 into P13. Beautiful move on the inside of the Chinese driver Guan Yu Zhou. But Zhou really is fighting back. He's getting a reputation this season to be a little bit feisty with the higher teams. So you never know, Zhou might be aiming for a little bit of a Ferrari seat there if Sainz or Leclerc messes up too bad. You never know. But what a move from Russell. P13 as he now chases after the Haas of Nico Hulkenberg. We get towards the start of lap 7, so just a few corners later, this Mercedes has got scintillating mid-corner speed, and on these softs, Russell is going to be a force to be reckoned with. So, I mean, Mercedes basically told Hamilton, do what Russell is doing. And so far, it's benefiting Lewis. On lap 7, the gap between myself and Hamilton is 1.0 seconds now. It was 1.1. But as we start lap 8, it's down to 0.8 of a second. But that's not what we are concerned about. This is what we are concerned about. Verstappen up the inside of his rival, Charles Leclerc, Ferrari v Red Bull. Here we go, through T2. Verstappen's got the outside, but he's got the overspeed. And he's now up the inside of Leclerc. And he's now up into P6. As we now look at Nick de Vries being pressurized by the hard charging George Russell into the start of Sector 3 around the outside. That's a beautiful move from George Russell. What a move from the Brit. That was insane. We now head on to lap 10, guys, and as you guys can see, Hamilton's softs are something of the past. Our mediums are on 30%, but they don't look too shabby. And we have now got the pace advantage on this Mercedes through the penultimate corner. You guys can see it. This track now is an absolute roller coaster. I turned in a bit too early for the final corner, but no, not too much damage done. The ERS flowing, DRS open. It's an easy move. Let's go up the inside of Hamilton. We're going to pass him way before the corner, and we take the lead of the Spanish Grand Prix. And guys, I just don't need to mess up now. If I mess up now, I'm going to kick myself up the bum. But this is the part of the race where I was starting to worry about my strategy. Because, oh wait, before we talk about that, lap 12, Charles Leclerc has done a Ferrari. He's done the Spinella. And that is heartbreak for Ferrari. Can it get any worse for Ferrari? Like, honestly, can it get any worse for Ferrari? P1 and P3, down to P4 and P6 at the start. Sainz regained P3. But I mean, and for some other reason, guys, that caused the safety car. That little spin caused the safety car. And here we go into the pit lane. I'm committing to my two-stop strategy, guys. But this is where I fear I might be making a mistake, because all these drivers now are getting a free pit stop. They don't have to stop again, and they're going to be right behind me as the race resumes after the safety car. Was this a mistake? I guess only time will tell. But guys, in the pit stops, Hamilton, who was still P2, has been jumped by Sainz and Perez and is down to P4. So Hamilton cannot be happy. He's onto the hards. Everybody is going onto hards, basically. Even Alonso has gone onto the hards. Verstappen P6 still on the hards. Magnussen is now P7. Russell has fought himself all the way up into P8. So he's only got one car in between himself and fighting with the top guys again. So that must be good. That must be a good feeling for Russell. But guys, my heart breaks for Leclerc. I mean, even though it was a mistake, it really just can't seem to go right for Ferrari here at the Spanish Grand Prix. And I know the Spanish fans love Ferrari thanks to the fact that Alonso drove for them for so many years. So you've got massive Ferrari supporters in the grandstands at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. But, I mean, okay, it is what it is. Leclerc has to fight it back from P17. Russell did it from P14. I'm certain Leclerc can do it from P17 to at least get back up into P8, P9. But, guys, the safety car ends. We bolt. Sainz is behind us in the Ferrari. Perez P3, Hamilton P4. My teammate Alonso P5. As now we pull to the inside of the track to break the slipstream for the Ferrari. It's been a beautiful restart. 8 tenths already between myself and Sainz. But, I need to try and use these medium tires as well as possible, and I need to try and break away. But knowing the Aston's chassis and this being a chassis track, guys, this is not going to be easy. And as you guys can see, lap 17, the hards have rubbered in now, and they've basically got the exact same pace as the mediums. So, guys, this is where the reality started settling in, that I made a mistake on my strategy. As soon as the hards warmed up and they rubbered in, it was impossible for me to break away from Sainz. Like, literally impossible. I even tried, when I realized I was not going to break away, to save up some battery and force him into Perez and Hamilton, but that even didn't work. So I was just basically defending for my life. As now Hamilton tries to get back onto the podium after he was leading the first portion of this race. For the first 10 laps, Hamilton led. The first 9 laps, Hamilton led. So I'm sure he's keen to get back to this front fight. But that's a beautiful move from the 7-time world champion. And just behind, Verstappen made the same move, well, almost the same move on my teammate Alonso. And guys, honestly, I know I said at the beginning of the episode, Alonso hasn't been pulling his weight as much as I would have hoped. But this race, I can honestly say, the fact that he stayed with this group, knowing how bad the Aston's chassis is compared to the other top 3, it was a mission. So I take my hat off to Alonso actually staying with this group. Hamilton now overtakes Sainz at the start of lap 19. He's back into P2. And obviously that means as soon as I pit, Hamilton will retake the lead of the Spanish Grand Prix. I know Hamilton loves this track, and he's always pretty damn pacey around the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. So let's see what happens to Hamilton. But here we go. We now are running with Sainz. As Sainz is slow. No, not at his home Grand Prix. Carlos Sainz is pulling onto the gravel. Oh, no. I literally said a few minutes ago, what else can go wrong for Ferrari? And I had to open my big mouth. The commentator's curse seems to be upon Ferrari. Carlos Sainz is out of the Spanish Grand Prix with an engine failure. Leclerc now at the start of lap 23 has back up into P8. He's now chasing down Hamilton. He's chasing down Magnussen, excuse me. So Leclerc is having a good recovery so far. We now look at Max Verstappen, as I've got about a second to Hamilton, as the mediums, their pace slowly but surely got a bit better. But I expected more from them as they were new tires. But Hamilton and Verstappen, once again, the 2021 championship is re-engaged as Verstappen takes the second place, the net P1, because I still have to pit of this race. I'm into the pit lane now, but this battle is more interesting. Hamilton goes back up the inside of Verstappen as Hamilton takes back the lead. It's a Red Bull 2-3, but here's the replay of my pit stop, guys, because this is critical. We have to see where we are going to come out for this race. So we're into the pit lane, and guys, honestly, at this stage, I know it sounds terrible, but I was accepting the fact that we were not going to win a second race in a row. I was accepting defeat and that I made a mistake on my strategy. And there's no two ways about it. I made the mistake. I am the nincompoop.
Up to speed now. Let's get some heat into those tyres.
But we have still got, what's that, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. We've still got this outlap, so it's 8 laps in total to make up some position. We're down to P13. It's a lot worse than what it would have been thanks to the safety car. But we can fight. We can fight. We just need to get our head down now. And once again, just keep the quali laps punching in. As now we have Leclerc going around the outside of Kevin Magnussen. Around the outside goes the scarlet red Ferrari. Will Magnussen keep trying to fight this? He does. But that Haas is just not in the same league as the Ferrari. As we jump on towards the replay of our camera, guys, of our replay cam. As we are just absolutely sending it in this Aston Martin. We have now caught up to the back of the... I think it's an Alfa Romeo, an Alfa Tauri, and a Haas. But we go up, we take an awkward line through that hairpin. It's an easy move up the inside of Bottas, if I'm not mistaken. We are now right behind Yuki Tsunoda. And then right ahead of him is Hulkenberg. But oh my word! What on earth went through my head there? That was not a place to go for a dive bomb up the inside of the final corner. That could have been an absolute train wreck. But you guys can clearly see that I was mad at myself for what I've done. But now we jump. It's already just the first 3 corners, and the grip advantage on these softs are immaculate. And we are up the inside of Hulkenberg, without any care in the world. And guys, I'm not gonna lie. Even with the battling, I was taking out 1.5 seconds a lap on the leaders. The laps where I didn't battle much, it was over 2 seconds a lap. So the softs were working. If there wasn't a safety car, the win might still have been on the plate. You never know, it could have been. But once again, Verstappen and Hamilton are relentless, guys. And now through the first few corners, they are side by side with one another as Hamilton takes back the lead of the Spanish Grand Prix. We are now right behind Lando Norris, the man that Verstappen battled in the beginning. Easy move up the inside of the young Brit as we now can take P8 away from him. Guys, I unfortunately missed the move on Ocon, which I do apologize for. But yeah, there was just a lot that I needed to stay aware of while recording this. But in any case, by lap 29, we've caught up to the back of Kevin Magnussen. We need this P7. Guys, remember, we were leading the championship. Every little point counts at this stage, especially with Verstappen and Perez fighting for the win with Hamilton. You guys can see I'm desperate to get past Magnussen, making a few stupid errors on my racing line. But it's okay. Up the inside of the Dane, and that is now P7, and Leclerc's only 2.5 seconds up the road. Nothing too major. We go to lap 32, the penultimate lap, the start of the penultimate lap, and again Verstappen takes the lead away from Hamilton. Those two are relentless with one another. As now we have a quick replay at the start of lap 22 as we just made an overtake on Leclerc. Easy move. Leclerc really threw away his race, and Ferrari are having a Spanish Grand Prix to forget. It looks like always on my game saves, Ferrari just suck at the Spanish Grand Prix. Never mind what game or what happens. Ferrari just have bad luck and they suck at this Grand Prix. I don't know why. But in any case, we now start the final lap of the Spanish Grand Prix. Hamilton is going for the lead for one last time. Up the inside, does those hearts still have enough grip to battle the Red Bull through the first sequence of corners? Beautiful running here by Verstappen and Hamilton. They haven't wiped each other out yet. And Hamilton takes back the lead of the Spanish Grand Prix. And here comes Perez and Alonso to join the fight. Perez up the inside of Verstappen. But can Verstappen hang it around the outside? That is the quicker line through that corner. Yes, he can. Alonso is there. Russell isn't even far behind. We're a further 3.4 seconds down the road. So if you guys can look at that, I basically caught up to 6 seconds and I was a pit stop behind. That was the insane pace of fresh soft tires and 8 laps. And it wasn't clean air. It was almost constant battling. So the fact that we've caught up that much, if the safety car wasn't a factor in this race, we would have been fighting for the win. I am absolutely guaranteeing it. But sometimes it's how the cookie crumbles, and this man Lewis Hamilton has driven a phenomenal race. He rounds the penultimate corner, he rounds the final corner. Lewis Hamilton wins the Spanish Grand Prix, followed by Verstappen and Perez to complete the podium. Alonso P4, Russell P5, and we take a disappointing P6.
All right, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Another Spanish Grand Prix is over, and what a special race it was. Natalie Pinkham, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I feel consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take the top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes.
Guys, what a Spanish Grand Prix. Look, we threw away with the win. I'm not even going to shy away from it, and I know you guys are going to hammer me in the comments. I threw away the win. But I'm sure there's a few Lewis Hamilton fans that are not unhappy to see him on the top step of the podium ahead of the 2 Red Bulls. Verstappen, brilliant recovery from P10 to P2. Russell, brilliant recovery from P15 to P5. They both gained, Verstappen gained 9 and Russell gained 10. And then, obviously, Leclerc and Sainz having a horrible race for Ferrari. We come home P6, at least with our soft tires. We take the fastest lap by a country mile. And as you guys can see, at the end of the race, 5.2 seconds is all what separated myself from that top 5. 5.2 seconds. That's all it was. No, sorry, that's not 5. Yeah, that is 5.2. It is 5.2 in total. There wasn't much still left that we had to do. And if the safety car wasn't there and the other drivers didn't get a free pit stop, I think I could have made up those 5.2 seconds if I had clean air and I didn't have to worry about either defending or attacking in my middle race stint. So, what would have been my second stint, my middle stint. But that's, like I said, that's how the cookie crumbles. No point in sitting on this and being sad. We move. We are still in the lead of the Drivers' Championship. Only by 11 points, though. Verstappen in P2, Perez P3, 13 points behind. Leclerc P4, 23 points behind, with Hamilton now moving up to P5, 27 points behind. And Alonso has been moved down to P6, 29 points behind. So it's still an interesting championship, this, guys. And still anything and everything can happen because these top 4 teams, any team can just whack out an ultimate upgrade and they are leaps and bounds ahead of the other 3. So it's still going to get juicy. Unfortunately, Aston Martin lose the lead of the Constructors' Championship to Red Bull. We are now 5 points behind the Red Bulls. Ferrari 30 points behind. Mercedes 38 points behind. But this Constructors' Championship battle is going to be something beautiful. I think that's going to be a very interesting part of this, of a very interesting story of this season. But once again, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a tough one. But we are tough cookies. We will move on. And the next time we head to a racetrack, I'm almost certain it's the Red Bull Ring, guys. But we'll figure it out in the next episode. And guys, one thing that I want to mention, though, is look at my consistency when it comes to fastest lap. There hasn't been a single other driver this season that has taken fastest lap except for me. I am a freaking genius. So those 4 points can be the difference at the end of the season. You never know. And guys, I was correct. It is Austria next on the calendar, so it's a big break between the Spanish Grand Prix and the Austrian Grand Prix. But like I said, we move. Then it's Silverstone after that. I can't wait to drive Silverstone. But guys, I mean, what a race. I tried to go bold. This time it blew up in my face. But still, this start. Oh my word. Having to be a lawnmower just to get past the 2 Ferraris. And still, with those 2 dirty tires, stick the move on Perez and Sainz, or on the outside of T1. That felt so damn good. That is something that no one can shy away from. I had a brilliant start, I made a brilliant move for P2, and I made brilliant work of actually chasing down Lewis Hamilton. And I mean, to be honest, I was the car to beat. It's not like I was under constant pressure. They weren't DRS, yes, but they didn't have the pace to overtake me. My straight line speed was carrying me. So I was the car to beat, but I made the strategy blunder. So I will live with it. You guys can tear me apart in the comments. It is okay. I am a silly Billy, and sometimes I am a bit stupid. But it is okay. Stupid people make life fun. Otherwise, something like meme TikToks wouldn't exist. But guys, that has been this video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for staying till the end. Guys, the support on the channel recently has been insane. We recently hit 40,000 total views in the last 365 days on my YouTube analytics. Thank you so much for that. The next target is 45,000 views. So please, social media links are in the description down below. Share this video with your friends. Tag me in the post of the story, and I will give you a shout out in a future video as well as on my social medias. I would absolutely love that, guys. Let's get the views going. Then sooner rather than later, I can permanently start doing this for you guys, because this is my love. This is my passion. This is what I want to do. So get people to watch with me. Then more than that, guys, remember to drop a like down below on the video if you haven't done it yet so far. Highly appreciated. And finally, if this is your first time viewing Turbo Fox Races and you have not yet subscribed, what are you doing? Hit the subscribe down below, and don't forget to ding that bell to never miss a future video here on Turbo Fox Races. Breaking Point being awesome, career mode being awesome. What more do you want? I love you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers!